Hello guys, and we're back, and today we're going to be looking at my tips and tricks. Basically all of the things that I wish I knew before I started leveling, my alts, before I started picking professions, because professions are they're so convoluted, or so difficult to understand initially, and I feel this video is going to try and prevent certain people falling into traps or making mistakes. And again, let's go and get started with some of the basic tips and tricks. And the number one thing, again, this is going to be somewhat basic, maybe a lot of people are gonna know, maybe they don't, but if you're planning on leveling multiple alts, if you're planning on leveling multiple characters, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, make sure that you're going to log in at least once since Dragonflight launches for your rest set experience to start gathering. By logging in at least once, you're going to accumulate rest set XP, which is going to make your leveling experience a lot faster. So if you want to optimize your time, or if you value your time, make sure you at least log in once right now on as many alts you're going to level. Tip number 2, and this is a big trap right now, I hope it's going to be fixed, but it's going to do with Spark of Ingenuity and your alts and how to acquire it on your alts. Right now, if you are completing the main campaign on your main, and you can see my main right here, this is my Preservation Evoker, I'm playing as Devastation right now, you will have something called Spark of Ingenuity. This is a big deal. Consider this to be like a legendary from Legion. It is going to be time gated. You can see the posts from Blizzard interviews in the previous weeks. It's basically going to be given to you when you complete the campaign quest, and then it's going to be given to you every 2 weeks until you accumulate a certain amount, and then it's going to randomly drop. So very, very similar to what some things referred to as Legion legendaries. And why do you need this? So right now you have Spark of Ingenuity on your main character. You're doing pretty well, and these are the work orders. This is something that a lot of people are going to be confused. Work orders. We're gonna cover this a bit more in the professions section and which professions to take and all of that stuff. But basically, if you want to craft end game gear that is high item level, let's say for example I want to craft let's go for alchemy stone, because let's say I want to have alchemy stone. You can click on it and you can place an order. You need to buy these items from an auction house, or you can get these items by having certain professions. Whichever way you want to do this, you can get these items. The only things you can't really get is Spark of Ingenuity. Primal Chaos, you can get it in multiple means as well, but you're basically time gated in terms of how many high level profession pieces you can get by this item alone. And this item alone, at least from my further reading, is that you can create an item and then you can use things like, we can go back to orders, you can use things like start recrafting orders, increasing the item level or that piece item level in the future. So Spark of Ingenuity, really, really important. You need to have this in order to kind of, improve your gear. Now, what's happening with alts? So what's gonna happen with your alts? There is a issue, a bug, I don't know how they're gonna refer this, but once you complete your main storyline on your main campaign on one character, you're going to open up adventure mode, and adventure mode is basically opened up by default. The next time you're going to play your alt and you're going to go through all the zones, you are able to basically level by doing the campaign quest, by doing dungeons, whichever way you want. That was the intention of the whole adventure mode. The problem is that there are certain things that are locked behind campaign, and the number one thing is going to be locked is Spark of Ingenuity. There is a very high chance that you have an alt that's level 70, that you level through doing dungeons, through doing different means, that you don't have your Spark, and you're like panicking, what the hell is going on, how do I do this? What you need to do is that you need to finish Taldrassus main campaign quest. You need to do that quest that involves helping Chromie, there's a bunch of kind of tedious quests that you need to do. You need to finish that campaign quest in order to unlock the Spark of Ingenuity main quest line that you're going to want. So this is why I'm my Restoration Shaman, because in the future when I'm going to be leveling characters, I'm going to be following this kind of route. First of all, when you get to Dragonflight for the first time, you're gonna do a little bit of a quest in Waking Shore, and then you're gonna get to this zone, you're gonna get to these guys, and you get a quest where you have to pick Scouting Map. So my intention, again, you want to pick up the weekly quest as well, which is called the Aiding the Accord. I've heard multiple things about this in terms of not opening this until you're level 70. I haven't confirmed this yet, but just be careful. Maybe if you open this before you're level 70, you might not get the items that they're gonna scale on your item level. But what you want to pick up is the quest from this guy here. You're going to get, again, you complete a couple of quests at the entry, but you're going to get Adventuring in Dragon Isles, and then it says Review the Scouting Map. You're gonna get the Review Scouting Map, and then in my opinion, I think you should go and pick either Taldrassus or Waking Shores. I would pick Taldrassus straight away, because you need to complete this campaign quests right now, because you don't want to waste time when you're level 70 and you're going back to it. If you pick this zone, you're going to be brought into, again, you can click on adventuring here, complete it, and you're going to be able to go to this zone and get some of the initial quests. I definitely advise people to do that. I also advise people to finish some of the Waking Shore campaign quests as well, because there is a lot of world quests that you're going to get here. There's going to involve picking whether you're going to aid Vratian or Sabellian. You have to pick this. If you don't complete a campaign quest on your alt, there is a high chance that this area is going to be phased out and you don't get to see them. So, the short summary of this whole section: if you're leveling alts, this is going to be activated by adventure mode. Make sure that you're going to be completing this zone in terms of campaign quests, and you should also look at completing this zone in terms of campaign quests. And after that, you can level in which way you want. You can spam dungeons, you can do profession leveling and things like that. Just make sure you get these 2 zones done so you don't waste time when you level 70. You go back and you have to complete this because you want Spark of Ingenuity. So that's just my advice right now. So what happens when you're level 70 and you don't know how to start the campaign quest for this zone, how to get the Spark of Ingenuity? I already did this on my Druid, but I'm going to show this on my Shaman. My Shaman is not level 70, but my Druid was, and it didn't have Spark of Ingenuity. You're going to get probably a couple of quests to talk with the dragon here, and then you're going to get this guy to come out, and it's going to give you 2 quests. And it's going to be Nowhere to Hide, and the second quest is going to be Eyes and Ears. And you're going to accept these quests, and they're going to be, you have to kind of familiarize with the zone, and you just basically follow this line of quests. You're going to have to kill a couple of mobs, and then it's going to send you to Chromie. And then you follow the whole Chromie quest line, and the Chromie quest line is going to lead you to Spark of Ingenuity. Again, this is a hefty and a long campaign quest. Make sure you do this while leveling, so you don't have to do this at level 70 like me, unless Blizzard is going to fix this in the future. I don't know, but again, save yourself some time. And now let's go to the profession section, and this is going to be a somewhat, how do I say, profession is probably the most convoluted, the most interesting, or the most confusing thing in the expansion right now. People are really confused about what are the best professions, how to optimize them, what's the reason for them. Right now, most of the people are using professions for leveling because you can level a couple of levels in terms of doing the first crafts. So most of the people will pick up professions in order to level during this time, which means that the prices are kind of all over the place in terms of, hey, it's way cheaper to buy an enchant or to buy flasks from auction house than it is to actually craft them. So that's something to consider. So if you're not looking to make gold, if you're not looking to level from professions, you don't actually really need them right now. You don't really need them. There are a couple of gains, but overall, everything that's available to multiple different professions is available to you as work orders. For example, again, I showed this before. You go to this work order section here in Valdrakken. You can go and say, for example, I want an alchemy stone. I want to get an alchemy stone, and you can. You can click on alchemy stone here, and then you can buy these items. Again, you can buy these items from the auction house, and you can place an order, and someone's gonna make you an alchemy stone, and you can use it as a non-alchemist. So this is the way just to showcase that all the professions, 99% of things in professions are open to everybody. So unless you're looking to make gold, unless you're looking to level, or if you want to really min-max, you don't really need them at the moment. So for the people who are looking to min-max professions, for the people who are looking to min-max your gain, there are a couple of professions that have personal character gain, and that is going to be in this order: alchemy and then engineering. So why is alchemy so important? Again, we can fly to the alchemist. Everything's really, really close by. Why is alchemy important? What are the personal gains that you get from alchemy? So this is my alchemist, and this I'm level 67 right now. So I've been leveling alchemy throughout the time because I know there are a couple of things. So when you open this menu right here, you need to make sure that there are tabs. You need to make sure that you go through the little tabs that are available here, because a lot of people tend to miss out on this straight away. So once you reach level 25, if you level your alchemy to 25, 50, or 100, you're going to open specializations. The first specialization is going to be open at 25, and you can pick whichever one you want. I already kind of messed up. You can already see that I already kind of messed up, but you can pick whichever you want, and then when you get level 50 in here, once you get level 50, you'll be able to open the second one, and once you get level 100, you'll be able to open the third one. You can see it here, requires level 100 of Dragonflight alchemy to unlock. So keep in mind, level 100 in a profession can be relatively awkward to get, so make sure you're picking the right one. So what are the personal gains of alchemy that no other profession has? There are a couple. So Files of Mastery. If you end up going to Files of Mastery, your files are going to last longer. Generally speaking, again, if you look at my files, again, I'm going to try and find it in my bag because it's all over the place. You can see it right here. Generally speaking, they're going to be 30 minutes for a lot of people. But if you go into one point, or at least if you open File Mastery, I'm going to click my File of Tepid Versatility, it's going to be 1 hour. So that's one gain that you get. You can also actually improve the duration even further, but it's not really all that mandatory. Second, Potion Mastery. Once you unlock things like Frost Formulated Potions, this is going to allow you, when you use potions, to heal yourself a little bit. And this is going to allow you, when you use potions, consuming a Dragon Isles potion will grant a brief burst of movement speed. So this might not be a big deal, but you're going to get increased use from potions in terms of healing yourself, in terms of getting burst of speed, which can be pretty nice in Mythic Plus. The most important thing, which I haven't picked yet, because again, I made mistakes. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people don't know what the best routing is and things like that, which is going to change, is Alchemical Theory. You need to pick this and then get Decayology. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but what this is going to allow you, first of all, you can now discover recipes which use decay as a reagent for potions and files of experimentation. This is going to allow you to create toxic potions, toxic files. And then if you put more points into this, into this here right now, which I have to learn, there's going to be reduction in terms of the negative effect. Considering that majority of potions and flasks that are going to be used, especially in raid situations, at least for healers from what I'm reading right now, they're going to be toxic. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on using toxic potions, on using toxic flasks. Putting points into this is going to be relatively important and it's going to give you a big gain. So if I were to redo this, I would probably go here first, apply a couple of points here, go into File Mastery for extra duration, and then I put some points into Potion later on. You can see here the knowledge. So throughout, there's multiple ways of getting knowledge. I'm not going to talk about this because I'll spend hours and hours and hours of it. But the knowledge that you get and you put into this, like say, for example, I can apply knowledge right now and apply changes. The knowledge that you put is not refundable. Make sure you're putting the right points in. That's the most important thing, because you can get these knowledge points throughout Dragonflight, but in order to refund them, you cannot. So this is my advice for people who are picking or looking to advance alchemy. I think I'm going to go into, again, when I reach level 100, I'm going to go into Alchemic Theory. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to apply a lot of points here. I'm going to get a couple of points here for extra, or at least just open File Mastery. Just open File Mastery to get increased duration on my flask. And then I'm going to go into Potion Mastery, get a couple of points here and get a couple of points here. So every time I use potions, I'm getting healed and I'm getting a burst of speed. My flasks are lasting longer time, and all the flasks and potions that have decay or toxic elements to them, they're dealing less damage to me. Win, 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 win situation. Now, a brief summary of engineering. I don't think engineering power gain is all that meaningful. I also don't. I think it is relatively interesting, but it's not as big as alchemy. So the main thing about engineering is that, again, every single person can get engineering Balres. You do not need to be engineered to get it, because you can see this is my engineering right now. I haven't really min-maxed it, but you can go down to the recipes that I don't know right now. So we can go to armor. You can get yourself bracers. You can get bracers for every single cloth, leather, whatever, mail. And these bracers will have specific slot. You can see here, Tinker Socket. So everyone can, I can go to work orders just to showcase it. It's not locked to engineering. You do not need to have engineering, but you can go to work orders right now. Again, this is engineering and this is work orders. And I can be like, okay, I'm a tailor herbalist or whatever. And I can be like, okay, I want this engineering, or I want this socket with Tinker. So I'm going to go into armor. I need a mail. I'm going to go into wrists. And you can see it right here. Complicated cuffs, Tinker socket. I can use it. I can place an order. I need Spark of Ingenuity. We already covered this. I can already get this. I can buy these from auction house, or I can craft them as an engineer if I want to, but it's probably cheaper to even buy them from the auction house, because everyone's leveling professions in order to level their character. So I can get this and I can get a Tinker socket. So what do I do with this Tinker socket? What is this going to give me? So what you can put in Tinker sockets is going to be, and again, I can show it to you right now here. You can put things like this, which is going to give you a Balres. So you can use Balres, especially in Mythic Plus content. Anyone can use this, or you can even pick up things like this, which Predator Altarius reveal a flame thrower to deal damage, which I actually think would be interesting as a healer. I'm gonna test this out in the future. But now, why is engineering considered to be a little bit better than other professions? Because again, you go into your engineering, you have an option of crafting goggles. So you can see it here. If you go down a little bit more, option of tinkers, you can go to goggles and you can see here, hey, 382 item level plate with a tinker socket. And you're like, okay, you don't actually have to be engineered to craft this. You can make a work order. Like we can go to work orders again. This is on the map in the work order section. You can go to armor, you can go to, let's say, mail, you can go to head, and like you can make a work order to craft engineering goggles. But in order to equip these goggles, you can see it right here, requires Dragon Isles engineering. So this is why engineering is considered to be a little bit better. In my personal opinion, alchemy provides the most personal gain, and then engineering is again another option you can equip and you can mess around with. So this is why these two professions are considered to be as the min-maxi version for anyone who's doing Mythic Plus and raids. But again, as I mentioned, if you're not hardcore, the gain is still very minimal. Professions are not exclusive, with the exception of alchemy and engineering, and the minimal gain that you get from those, for most people, it's not going to matter. Don't get overwhelmed with professions. Most people right now are using professions to level. Most people right now, like, this is causing the auction house prices to be crazy. It's way cheaper to buy enchants, really good enchants. It's way cheaper to buy enchants from auction house, at least on my server right now, Kazakh, which is very populated, than actually to craft them alone. Unless you find a good spots and things like that, because everyone's using professions to level. And this is going to be a summary of my again, I spend way too much time on this. I just don't want people to really get bogged down in terms of how to optimize their professions. I think alchemy is going to be quite important for a lot of people, because I think that toxology, or the reduction in the negative effects of flasks and potions, is going to be a pretty big deal, because some of your best flasks and potions are going to be toxic. So that's something to consider. And again, if you like engineering, you can go and check it out. And if you're trying to get, again, Spark of Ingenuity, really, really important. If you're leveling alts, make sure that you at least do a couple of campaign quests. I would, again, I'm summarizing this, do the campaign quest in this zone, do the campaign quest here, just because of the sharding that you get from these zones. You will get certain sharding issues if you don't complete a campaign quest here. Even though Blizzard's intention was, hey, you pick adventure mode, you can level in any way that you want. But if you do, you will actually waste some time. Let me know how you feel about this video. If you have any tips and tricks, again, there's so many different things that I could include in this video, but I don't want this video to be too long. If I miss out on something, if I made a mistake, this is Wild Wild West. Information is coming every day in terms of ways of optimizing stuff. Let me know how you feel about this video, and I'll see you in my next guide.